It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
What's up, Detroit? Ermanni and Edwards and Maz. But you don't get any of those here. Well, you'll get some Ryan Ermanni shortly here. He's pulling double duty. My name is Anson Wells. I'm joined by the great Pistol Pete Spivak and the legend named Rick.
Happy Monday.
What's up, man? What's up? How we doing? It's like doing a Oprah show without Oprah.
Yeah, I heard.
But
Ricky,
we have Gail.
Ricky, I heard you got a chance to DJ this weekend.
Yes. I haven't DJed in a while now. I think about a couple months. I was DJing out at 29 Novi. More important than that, I meant to send Pete the pictures, but we had a crazy before show time. We'll get into that later. But I got to take my 5-year-old daughter golfing for the first time for Father's Day.
How'd she swing them?
She actually did pretty good. Her longest drive was probably about 40 yards.
That's solid.
She had a good 40 yards.
That's some good contact.
5 years old, I'm not mad at it.
Hell
So that was fun. That was fun. Nice little family scramble for Father's Day.
Ready for that WPGA?
Yeah, I called Mr. PGA. He didn't answer.
Okay. It's Mrs. PGA, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You got to call her. She's in charge, man.
That's why you didn't get a response.
Pete, you win any pinball trophies this weekend?
I didn't win any pinball trophies, but unfortunately in my quest for my first ever World Series of Poker bracelet came up twice short. Did not make the money in both of my tournaments. $200 down the drains, $100 for each tournament. But as I said before, I set $1,000 a year aside to take 10 tries at my first bracelet. Just came up short, Anson, but we'll try again, my friend.
Very nice. Well, we have a very handsome man walking into the studio right now. Well, there he is. My man Ryan Ermanni is in the building, and we'll let him sit down and get comfortable. But first, I'll let you guys know, if you watched our social media, one of the things that I do when I'm not here in the studio is throw big electronic music shows. So we had Boris Brejcha in town. He's one of the largest international DJs in the world. We had about 3,000 people at the Russell Industrial Center. But I got to give a big shout out to Techno Snob, my guy Brian.
That shirt is fire.
It is, right?
That shirt
That's
is so
cool.
fire.
The Better Made.
Absolutely love the Better Made Techno Snob shirt. But shout out to Brian. He was super generous. In fact, Pete, if you want to show it off, he hooked you guys up today with a shirt that, I'm not going to lie, I really wanted to keep this bad boy for myself. Look at this thing right here, man. You got the Rensen there, Detroit, Michigan, Techno
Zoom
City.
in on that people mover.
With the people mover cruising by, they got their Techno Snob logo all over it.
That's the best part of that shirt. That little detail is the best part.
It is, really. Honestly, and Chad, I'm going to be honest with you. I barely got this to the desk today. I had a lot of wants from everybody here at Woodward Sports to get that one. But, of course, you can't forget our guy Freddie Felt. He hooked us up with a big box of awesome memorabilia. This is the Winter Classic ticket. The big showdown here.
Hold it up again.
Michigan Stadium. The Toronto can't get to the Stanley Cup final, Maple Leafs versus our very own Red Wings. Also comes with an awesome pin-up here. And then you guys already know, you know how we do. We got a whole lineup of cards here, some vintage cards, some new cards, a lot of Detroit guys, including Kerry Carpenter and Gleyber de Torres there. Even some Grant Long in the middle.
Yes.
Spider Sally over here in the original first series skybox. But again, guys, Super Chats are going to get you onto the wheel. You're going to get a chance to take home this awesome Techno Snob Detroit Techno City t-shirt. The awesome ticket from the Winter Classic, and then of all of these cards. And now that he's nice and comfortable, the handsome man to my left, Mr. Media here in Detroit, Ryan Ermanni, how was your weekend?
Anson Wells, let me tell you, Pete Spivak,
Yes.
Ricky Burns, that's what teammates are for. I have mentioned this in the past. If one thing is off in my schedule at the end of the day, it's almost impossible to get here on time. And that is, so the Southfield Road the construction between 12 and 13 Mile. There is no better way to get here. I have tried many other ways, and an extra 5 minutes at the end of my day at Fox 2, combined with Southfield Road, was the death of me. So thanks for picking up the slack here. I will ask you, Anson Wells, number one, what is the size of bag that you show up to Woodward Sports with to come with all this stuff over here?
It's that big box right there, my friend.
Of stuff. Anson will walk in.
Yeah, I got more shirts from the Marky Mark tournament that they had at Detroit Golf Course that we'll be doing a little later this week. I do have another shirt from Techno Snob that we'll be doing later this week. I'm in today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So Thursday, chat, is going to be your day where I put together a really large package. Pause. However, this one today, I'll be honest with you, this shirt almost didn't make it to the studio today, and it almost didn't make it out of the back to the desk today because everybody wants that one. We're sending it home today to one of you.
I'll tell you, that is one of the great things that you bring to the show, Anson Wells, amongst many other things, but you get that chat going unlike anything I have ever seen before.
I appreciate it.
Great job.
And I appreciate the chat. Everybody in there, some of the legends, of course, our Cowboy, Dante 151, Rando Smalls. I mean, there's just so many. Weary, all you guys, we appreciate you all so much. They're all good.
No doubt. You already got the chat going here.
All right, let's go. They want that shirt, man.
Well, Michael Weary, let's get this party started. And it starts with a party of this, okay? First and foremost, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
How was your Father's Day?
How was yours?
It was fantastic. I'm so blessed. The fact that I have my dad, my stepdad, and my father-in-law all still on this earth, I do not take that for granted, and
God
that
bless
is
them.
a blessing in and of itself.
Yeah.
Ricky, I know you're a dad. You had a great day yesterday, I assume.
Yes. So I'm blessed I see my dad all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very blessed. And my wife and her brother lost their dad when they were really young, so I usually make sure I spend time with them.
Yes.
And I got to take my daughter golfing for the first time.
God bless you.
So it was great. So I had a great day.
I've met your dad before. What a fine gentleman he is.
Yeah, he's something else, man.
Did you guys get to spend some time together?
Yeah, yesterday's we've got this guy Manny Rodriguez that's held his company on our property for 20 years. Just a fantastic guy, takes care of so many people, and it was his mother's birthday over the weekend. So we had 2 days of serious fiesta with some seriously wonderful Mexican food. So we didn't even have to go far, man. We had it right on the property.
Can't beat that. And then, Pete, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention you. I mean, I think you, like so many other people, it's a tough day. It's a tough day. I just think about you, and that's why, that's why I take the day like I take the day.
You should.
You know what I mean? Just because it's I almost don't see it as my Father's Day. I look at it as my dad's Father's Day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
A lot of people.
Well, Ryan, if I could say, Dad's still here.
Yeah.
That's all.
God.
He's still here and he's still there. So that's
Amen to that.
Always.
Now, one of the things that's beautiful, Pete. God bless you.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that we did yesterday was watch. I know we're not going to talk about golf or anything like that, but we were watching the golf yesterday.
I watched it too.
And it was that last putt by JJ Spawn was one of the great moments of the sports year.
Wow.
To hit from 64 feet away.
He couldn't do it again in his life if he tried.
No.
Heck no.
The longest putt of the weekend. Now, JJ Spawn aside, and he will be at the Rocket Classic in a couple of weeks. JJ Spawn aside, I do not like the U.S. Open. And I think that the chat may feel some way about it. I don't want to see these guys be human. I don't.
Okay.
I don't like the setup of the rough. And, JJ Spawn, the only golfer that shot under par. Yeah. It's like a circus out there. If I want to see a circus, I'll go to the local golf course right down the street and see bad shot after bad shot. I don't want to see these pro golfers play bad golf. Am I the only one?
I kind of get it, but they still were shooting 2 over. Like, I don't feel that bad.
You're right.
The scores were still, I get it because they'll win by 11 under, 7 under and stuff like that. But I don't know. it still was good. I'm in between. I get where you're coming from, but it didn't bother me. I feel like you still saw good golf overall.
Can I upset all the golfers?
Please.
Yeah.
So, having been around golf for as long as I did, managed a golf course for 8 years, the outside area, I have come to find golf as a $1,000 excuse to get away from your family for most golfers.
That's true.
So for me,
I brought my family.
I love seeing the pros spray. I love seeing the pros screw up, miss shots, miss tap-ins, because you guys know, when you get good, you're like an 18 handicap.
Yeah.
And then you realize how far you really are away. You have to put 5-6 days a week in to truly get there.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking about a +4 handicap. And even then, you're not that good.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So just the millimeters of error in that game that us regular folk are used to every swing, I love seeing that manifest in the pros.
Can I add something to that there, Ryan? Because
Yes.
I hear what you're saying, and I hear what Anson's saying. Because Anson, I think you have a good point too. And I like seeing the pros have to play hard, play to their best of their ability. The one thing though about that course, you use the word circus, Ryan, and that's probably a good word. Okay, it's a word we can argue with, because most PGA tournament length of the rough is about 3 inches. In the U.S. Open, it's 5 inches.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's so I hear you. So it's like going into basically the U.S. Open is the one extreme tournament for all the pros every year, and that's the shortest way I could say it. And I think that's the only test that they have to go through. With just being in an environment that is completely unfriendly, and I think that it's the only tournament every year, and I actually like seeing that.
So
that
one thing,
that makes sense.
One thing I would agree with you on. I don't think that course should be a major. I think that because that's ridiculous. I didn't know they had the rough that much higher. Yeah, that's.
But
stupid.
it's a U.S. Open rule. It doesn't matter the course. The U.S. Open has to have the rough at a certain. It's a certain
Gotcha.
rule.
They shouldn't make it a major. It should just.
Yeah,
be like
I mean, I don't know.
I get that.
It was a great moment. I'm glad he's coming to the Rocket Classic.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more interest here when you have that major champion here in the year that he won the major champion. So we'll be looking forward to that. And of course, you've got Anson's here. Look at. I mean. Oh, you got the Spider Sally. You got.
That's a good-looking Spider Sally right there.
It is.
I gotta actually. There's a Spider Sally
Ryan
card
wants to be on the wheel.
that is the worst card I've ever seen. If I was him and I saw the release, I would have just been pissed. It's literally just a close-up photo from the neck of him, just like. Just staring off in the distance, catching flies with his mouth. But that Spider Sally, on the other hand, is fire.
Oh, you got a strawberry card there too, and everything, man.
Straw, baby.
Big day for the chat. Shall we start with the Detroit Tigers, Anson?
Hey, you know people want to talk about him,
Might
man.
as well.
We'll get right into it. The good, the bad, the ugly. This guy, first of all, Ellie Dela Cruz. What
He's
a
good.
joy! What a joy it is to
He's
watch
very
him
good.
play
He's
baseball.
He's a talent.
If you are a fan of baseball,
Talent.
just the opportunity to watch this young man play
Talent.
baseball is a blessing. He is, to me, I mean, obviously, Ohtani is one.
Yeah.
I think he's number 2 as far as must-see TV.
It's funny you bring those two up.
Okay.
Did you see their little exchange at second
I
base?
didn't.
So I don't know when this took place, probably at some point this year, but, Shohei rips a double, gets on second standing up, and Ellie comes over to him and just touches him to see if he was real.
Oh, my
And they had a good laugh over it.
That is so
But
funny.
right now, I mean, with Trout hurt, the way he's been, it's hard to argue somebody over him. I mean, Soto and the kid from
Aaron
Atlanta.
Judge.
And Judge has been out of his mind this year. But in terms of like pure athleticism, what Ellie brings to the base pass and what he brings defensively, and he's still so darn young. He's amazing.
Maybe, that's a great – maybe it's just anybody that runs like that, anybody that plays like that. I look at Aaron Judge, and, he's just this menacing figure at the plate. And that's incredible to see him play in person too. But there's something about Dela Cruz, the way he moves, the way his size, his speed, his agility. He could just do everything on the baseball diamond.
It's like if J-Mo was playing baseball.
Seriously.
I was say it's like Steph Curry. Steph Curry
incredible.
goes to the 3-point line. You're like, it's going in. I was at the game on Saturday. As soon as he stepped up, and he's got ready. I'm like, he's about to hit a home run. And he hit it into the same exact spot he hit it the night before.
And maybe it's the way he wears his uniform as well with the extra button unbuttoned and he's flapping in the wind and all that stuff. But Reds beat the Tigers 8-4. Tigers lose the series, and we'll just have to see about Will Vest. Will Vest left with a potential injury. He is expected to be evaluated today, something to do with his pinky.
No updates yet.
Probably not going to learn anything today because the team is off today. They are off until tomorrow when they open up a series. Not Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's this weekend.
No, Tampa Bay is this weekend. They have Pittsburgh coming up there.
So we'll probably learn more about Vest. I think that is kind of a big deal regarding Will Vest. I think this team obviously needs some bullpen, but I went through the numbers earlier today, Anson, and I'm not sure. I wrote a tweet about this. I'm sorry, Pete. I should have told you to grab it. But I'm not sure there's anything that they can do this season that will have me freak out about where the Tigers are, and I'll tell you why. I went back. Last 2 times that they've made it to the World Series, 2006, 2012. In 2006, the Tigers were 59-29 at the All-Star break, 30 games above 500. You know how they finished that year? 36-38.
Yikes.
Do you think people were freaking out about the Tigers in 2006? They were under 500 to finish the season. They made it to the World Series. What about 2012? The Tigers were 44-42 at the break. They were essentially playing 500 baseball. Do you think the team was freaking? Do you think the fans were freaking out at that point, saying, "Oh, this team's no good. Oh, this team better make a deal. Oh, this team better do this. They're not going anywhere in the postseason." Finished that year 44-32 for an 88-74 record. Made it to the World Series. There are just many different ways. Great work, Pete.
You got it, buddy.
Many different ways to go through a 162-game season. And the stretch they're in, losing Job, potentially losing Vest, losing Cobb all year. I mean, we don't know. You've got Bo Brisky and who's the closer last year that's now Foley, Jason Foley that's in the bullpen. Like these ebbs and flows of 162 games a year, you just have no idea how it'll turn out. They have a huge lead in the division, larger than anybody in baseball, by double pretty much. And barring a total collapse, which I do not see coming at all from this team, like in downright flat-out collapse, I just think it's a sit back, enjoy the ride. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs. But really, as long as they're playing good baseball, Anson, at the end of the year, it's really all that matters.
Well, sure, they need to play good baseball, but at the same point, their rotation, their depth at pitching is really what I feel has separated them from a team that barely made it into the playoffs last year to a team that has, as you mentioned, the largest lead in a division. You look at some of these losses that we've had over the last week, maybe 10 days. I got What Up Doe with Detroit Gunny. He doesn't have big faith in Flaherty as a true number 2. And I have to disagree with you to a certain degree. I'll agree in saying that, Detroit fans don't get upset, don't think the sky is falling. But to the franchise itself, you have to make some moves. And you had to make some moves even if you stayed healthy, and that's because the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Padres, these guys are going to be active. In fact, we already saw what Devers get moved this weekend,
got moved. Here it is.
So this is going to be a situation that the Tigers haven't been in for 10 years, and that's being a buyer. So as much as, we here in Detroit, we love our young guys and nobody wants to move any of these pieces, this team has to move pieces to keep pace. Not for the first half of the season, but as we watch the trades and acquisitions change the makeup of the contending teams, the Tigers are going to have to keep up. And I think it's going to have to happen in pitching. Reese Olson will be a great addition. I think Gunny brought that up as well. We need to have to get him get healthy, but Cobb was a piece of depth that we thought we were going to be able to rely on. Job was somebody that, I think played over what we had hoped, but they still plan to have him part of that rotation. And as fun as pitching chaos was last year, it was also an undoing. We can't go into the playoffs with a ramshackle, I don't know if that's a word, but we can't have a chaos pitching lineup. We've got to have it solidified.
There's no doubt. And I think, really like to see what Alex Cobb can do. It does not sound like he's close, right? I mean, that is a guy that you sign in the offseason to give a little stability. You know you're going to experience some attrition to your starting staff. Every team does this year. They've experienced that. Jackson Jobe is out for the remainder of the year and probably out of all next year, too, to be honest with you.
Right.
We know how Tommy John goes. It takes about a year and a half for guys to get going. So they are going to probably need to add some depth in the pitching rotation, perhaps starting pitching and also bullpen. And, you gauge there's no such thing as a perfect roster. And I'm not sure the Tigers will be a perfect roster on August 1st either after the trade deadline. But at the same time, what would your priority be? Would it be a third baseman? Would it be a starting pitcher? Would it be a reliever? Because I think now you do have some holes that weren't holes at the start of the season.
No doubt.
I'm not sure anybody thought that Jason Foley would be a AAA guy the way he pitched last year. I'm not sure anybody thought Bo Brisky would have to be sent to AAA at the start of the year. I'm not sure anybody thought that Alex Cobb would give you 0 coming in to the start of the year.
I did.
You did.
Forget this guy, man.
Okay.
Forget this
So,
guy.
but you get the point. I mean, the bullpen guys notwithstanding, there have been some issues pop up with the roster and with the pitching, even more so than third base, I think.
You think that $40 million of Cobb and Maeda is haunting the Tigers right now?
Well, I always say this. If not them, then who? Who didn't you get because – go ahead.
Oh, I know. You know who signed for the exact same money
Justin
Alex Cobb
Verlander.
– but I know Justin Verlander's hurt right now, but maybe he's not hurt if he's here. I mean, who knows? So,
He hasn't been very good, though, either.
He's been pretty decent, but
damn
he's just not,
decent, yeah.
he's not healthy.
Yeah, he's just not healthy. But that was my own. But that was my only one.
I mean, you want to go get a Max Scherzer? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, we've got to live in the real world
Yes.
too. If not those guys, then who? And
And even though we made the playoffs last year, this, as we saw with Mr. Bregman, this is not a high priority free agent destination. So when you look at a Cobb and you look at a Maeda and you groan. You might have groaned when we signed them. You're certainly groaning now while they're not playing. But, again, this was kind of what you saw out of the Lions when Dan and Brad first got here. This is what you saw out of Troy Weaver when he took over this team. You couldn't get anybody of quality here. You had to overpay for older veterans,
That's
journeyman
correct.
type of guys. And that's where the Tigers were this offseason, despite having a great playoff run that no one expected. So, this next offseason, I think that they'll have a better opportunity to bring in some real class free agents. But that $40 million flat out sucks, when
Right.
you're not getting any production out of it. But they'll be in a better place this next summer. Hopefully, though, that they can turn some of these young kids in the farm system into some arms for this run this year.
And then ultimately, too, Anson, Javi Baez, that contract really has come into play here because if he didn't turn around the way he did, we're probably killing these guys. I mean, his turnaround, Spencer Torkelson's turnaround, is really, I think at the forefront of why the Tigers were able to stay afloat without Parker Meadows for most of the year up until this point. Riley Green's been a superstar. Kerry Carpenter's been great every day for this team, not just against right-handers, but he's playing against lefties too. All that has been a perfect storm, I think, and it's why the Tigers are in the position that they're in with the best record in all the American League.
Do you think that our offense can just go quiet for a month?
Well, no, and I
No.
said that's why I am not going to talk about the Tarek Skubal contract on Friday, and I'm not going to talk about the Tarek Skubal contract anymore, but I will say this. That's why I wouldn't offer Tarek Skubal $400 million, because he can't hit. I mean, go back to the playoff game against Cleveland last year. You know, he did his job. He can't score runs for them.
True.
You know, so you do need a huge bopper in there.
Yeah.
You do need somebody that can put some runs on the board. You do need somebody that can hit the ball out of the park. Now, I know the Tigers have had that this season, and you can't fast forward through the season to get through to the end of the year. But, you know, they've got Carpenter, they've got Green, they've got Torque, 3 guys that have over 13 home runs. That might not sound like a lot, but that's the first time this franchise has had that since the 60s at this point in the season. So that's not nothing.
No. The injuries to the pitching staff, you know, they're a little scary. Truly, though, I am concerned about this offense having a month that no one's really hitting. You know, Torque is a guy that at any day, and we've seen some stretches where he's been bad this season, could really have a bad month. I do believe that this team needs that guy you have to pitch around. And right now, we don't have that bopper, as you called it. So, you know, I feel you on the Skubal non-signing. But again, we talked about this last week. I think that that's important for the faith in this franchise, not just here in Detroit from the fans, but nationally from players that see that we take care of our own, that we're willing to be one of those top payroll teams. And right now, we haven't seen that for a long, long time here in Detroit, really since Mike was alive. So I don't know. I think that these injuries are going to be a catalyst to make some moves, and I hope that it's not just for pitching.
No doubt. I want to recognize in the chat John effing Lord. That's how he goes by in the chat. R.I.P. my sister 3 years ago on Father's Day. John, we just wanted to say we love you from everybody here at Woodward Sports, and it's one of the reasons why, you know, you just every day is a gift, and you
Truly.
never know what's going to happen on any given day, and our hearts go out to you. I'm sure yesterday and every day really has been extremely difficult to get through that, but there are certain days on the calendar where it's a little bit more pointed. So we want to recognize that, John, and we want to let you know that we're here and we hear you, and just wanted to acknowledge what a difficult day that might have been for you.
No doubt.
Also, Michael DeVries, $5, Anson's chat. I call this Anson's chat because without Anson, there is no super chat here on the Ermanni and Edwards with Mass program. Standing on the ledge, hoping someone will take me off.
Don't do it.
Instead, they keep yelling, jump, jump, jump.
Don't do it.
Not sure what he means by that.
I hope he's joking.
Yeah, I think he's joking.
He was. He had an LOL. I think he was really.
I think he was
so
maybe
that
talking
makes
about the
everything
Tigers,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Oh, gotcha.
Don't jump off the ledge in terms of your fandom,
Right.
Okay.
so to speak.
Good.
You know,
So
Right to the verdict.
when we get
Ricky's
back
ready to
from
play
break,
superhero.
you mentioned the fact that your pitcher can hit home runs for you.
yes,
So we'll talk about somebody that can do both.
Oh.
absolutely. We're going to do that and ESPN's 7 GMs that have the most pressure at this deadline.
We're going to call it 8, though.
Where does Scott Harris rank there?
We're going to call it 8.
We'll have that for you coming up. But first, a message from Buddy's, where we're going to be next Monday. Actually, live at Buddy's. Buddy's Pizza been serving the original Detroit style since 1946. 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan. Fans can visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards, earn points on every purchase, receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app. Start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10, MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com, Buddy'sPizza.com.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Hey, it's Stick from Woodward Sports. I'm out here at the Feldman shop, of course, you know, because they are #1 people. And the Ineos Grenadier, that's the new car that they got. But I got my man here, the Sun God. I'm not lying. His name is Amon-Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sold me a car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Come see us out here, baby. We in Waterford. We got the pre-owns all day. We got the Grenadiers, and we got new Chevys all day. Whatever you need, we got you.
Yeah, and I went with this one. I like it. 2023 Durango. It's used. Only got like 30,000 miles on it. And this guy, man, I was like, listen, this is my price. You either make it happen or I'm out of here.
Easy.
You know what he did? Went to his boss. He's like, I'm making this happen for this guy. Came back, threw the contract on the table. Now I'm in the whip.
Yes, sir. Sign, drive, 0 down, easy money all day.
All right, Feldman, what's the address here, do you know?
5300 Highland Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327. Open until 6 o'clock every weekday except 9 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. It's 4 o'clock on Saturdays. Only day we're not here for you is Sunday. Every other day we're here to get it done, baby.
And his legit name is Amon-Ra. I'm not lying. It was destined. It was meant to be. Woodward Sports found this guy. So thank you very much, man. Enjoying the car, and the kid likes it too. It's nice and safe.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on our expert sports injury insider, Dr. Pierce, for Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and on our show Thursdays right here on Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice and helps Maz with his elbow because he needs it. Trust the guy that D-Mac and Maz trust. Dr. Pierce, he's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportandSpine.com or call 248-526-9944.
Attention, all Tiger fans and all you bar crawlers. Join us for the White Claw Tigers Tour. Woodward Sports hitting 4 of the top legendary bars down in Detroit. Watch the Tigers game live on the network and join a whole bunch of the crew Sunday night, June 29th, from one of my favorite haunts in Detroit, the legendary Old Miami Bar. Be part of the fun and see our reactions live on Woodward Sports to one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Ben Johnson Law. And then don't forget, July 11th, the last stop will be at Second Best Bar downtown.
Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Anson Wells in for Braylon today. Tom Mazaway went to New York City New Jersey, actually,
it's
to
close.
visit his
Not the same.
96-year-old dad.
No,
Is he 95 or
99.
God bless her.
God.
Would you want to do? Would you want to make it 99 years?
Yes, I want to live to I'm 100.
I want 104.
Think
I
about
want to
the-
live
but
to.
I
I
just-
want to live forever.
I just think about the things he's seen, like the wars, the protests, Nicki Minaj. Like, how do you comprehend things like that? All in one. That's so long. That's so much to see, man. 99 years. Shout out to
Unbelievable.
I love that he grouped Nicki Minaj in
I know,
with
I
wars.
do,
But can you imagine seeing like
I believe
No
it,
doubt.
bro. I feel
the
you.
civil rights movement and then like Nicki Minaj like 20
The
years
things
later?
you see, right?
Yeah, like that's the spectrum of your life.
Ricky's great.
Especially with technology. Like, I feel like, think about where technology went from 1950 to 2000.
Black and white TV. Before,
I mean,
before the TV.
just like it
Sitting
took,
around the
like,
radio.
How long it took.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
50 to 2000. Think about where it's going to go from 2025 to 2075.
Oh my God.
Technological
I'll
growth
be
is
dead.
exponential, man.
Oh my
But I
gosh,
feel like-
it's
I feel
gonna
like
be
we're-
incredible.
I feel like we're reaching a time where it's kind of slowing down because, like, look at like the iPhone, one of those things where it's like it came out and it really hasn't changed that much. So I feel
Yeah,
like
only
yeah,
ramping
yeah,
up.
it's
but
getting
Yeah.
faster.
yeah, but what about AI and all that stuff? Listen, from 1950 or from 1900 to 1950, and then from 1950 to 2000,
Yeah,
the
it's
technological growth and change was exponentially. I mean, it's
Yeah,
guys
right.
know,
Oh, yeah.
guys know graphs.
Yeah.
Incredible.
AI.
Want to get to the chat here. Rando Smalls, $5. If the Tigers make it to the World Series and Scooble can pitch 3 games, 1, 4, and 7, no matter who they're playing, who is the favorite?
That's a great question.
Number 1, I think the National League team will be the favorite regardless.
And yeah, but he's asking us, us cloudy brain Detroit fans.
Number 2, I love the hypothetical. I have been as guilty as anybody that suggests that a starting pitcher could pitch 3 times in the World Series, 1, 4, and 7. Always there for you. Did you know the last time a starting pitcher started 3 games in the World Series?
And won them?
Or just pitched them?
I can tell you who the last 2 that won them were.
Okay.
One of them is my mother's neighbor, 1968, a man named Mickey
Mickey
Lowell.
Which
Yep.
is gonna be my guess.
First house my father ever sold, and his family still lives there.
Yep, that's one.
And
was
then
gonna
the
say
next
Mickey.
one is the bird destroyer himself.
Rando Johnson.
Rando Johnson. I like that. There you go. Big unit.
Is it big unit?
Only 2 have won 3 games in the World Series
What
since
year was the big
1968.
unit? Because I have 2001 here, Kurt Schilling,
That won 3?
that pitched
Oh
in
no, I'm
3.
just saying only 3. So I'm skipping
That
ahead.
flat
I
out just
apologize.
pitched in 3.
But so basically, what Randall is saying is that he sees us as the favorite. I'm assuming that because he thinks that Scuba would win all 3. If he were to win,
Oh!
I told you he was coming. I told you he was coming. New York, New Jersey Knight himself is in the house. Sir Tom Mazaway, welcome home, baby. Yes, sir. All right. Get your super chats in now, gentlemen and ladies and everyone else.
Look at this.
I told you he was coming in, Pete.
Look at this.
He missed us.
I am
Who
stunned.
knew?
Look at that smile. He's got that New York back in his blood. I love it.
God, I
So,
want to hear all about it.
99, huh? I love that
I don't hear
Oh
you.
my God.
so much.
Who's better than Tom Mazaway?
No one.
This is great.
No
I
one.
was having a bad day today, too, because I got here a little bit late. I was feeling a little sour.
Don't be sour. Be sweet.
And then you come up, and gosh.
And I thought I was the one putting a smile on his face today.
You are. I love you, man.
On my face.
Love you guys.
Look at this awesome shirt
at this
Techno
guy.
Snob gave us to give away today, Maz.
Ooh,
And then,
that's
of
right.
course-
You were having a good old weekend
I
this
was.
weekend.
Well, yeah, my body is broken down now.
Ah, you-
27,000 steps, but we also got the
Wow.
Winter Classic ticket with the pin from our guy Freddie Felton. And
Oh, I love that.
of course, the lineup of cards. So really awesome super chat. And they've brought it early on. But now that you're here, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a lot more, my
I
friend.
hope so. What did I miss so far?
We're talking about the Tigers. I said
Okay.
no matter how.
I followed them all
Let's
weekend. I didn't
ask
like it.
Rando's question.
Okay, Rando says we're talking about what's the pitcher's name? Tarek Skubal. If the Tigers make it to the World Series, then Skubal can pitch 3 games, 1, 4, and 7. No matter who they're playing, who is the favorite?
Tigers.
Hey.
Over the Dodgers, over the Phillies.
No.
over the Mets.
American League.
Oh.
No,
yeah,
we're talking
that's
in the
the
World
question.
Series.
In the World Series, no, they're underdogs to probably both those
in
teams.
Vegas. What about in your brain?
In my brain, in the NL or the AL?
In the World Series.
In the World Series. If they make a World Series, they will definitely be underdogs to the Dodgers. Probably a 2-1 underdog.
Padres too, I'd say.
Padres, no.
You think
Maybe that'll be a lot closer.
Giants?
The Mets, Giants, now that they got Rafael Devers, they're going to be dangerous, man. Bets.
Cubbies?
I mean, the National League is stacked.
They are.
Stacked.
National League is absolutely stacked. This is, if you are a baseball fan, this is so enjoyable to watch right now. I mean, I just realized the Dodgers have $1 billion payroll.
More.
$2 billion payroll that they've deferred.
Yes.
And would you be shocked if the Dodgers didn't make it to the World Series?
Of
I
course.
would not.
I would be.
I would not be shocked.
Not in the NL West.
I mean, the Giants, the Padres, the Mets, the Cubs,
The Phillies.
I mean, these are 6 teams that legitimately could make it to the World Series.
No doubt.
I think in the American League, it's 2. I think it's the Tigers and the Yankees.
Yeah.
And that's it. Barring a catastrophic injury, multiple catastrophic injuries by the Tigers.
Yeah, we were also talking as you came in that talking about Mickey Lolich in '68 and Randy Johnson again winning 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
So to
I know,
me, what
2001.
Rando's saying to me at that point, you kind of would have to see the third guy do that in just under 60 years for us to get past the Dodgers, I think.
Well, look at last year. I mean, Skubal had his chance to beat Cleveland, and he failed. I mean, he had a couple of good innings, but maybe they pitched him on short rest. I don't remember. That was only a 5-game series, so he could have went on short rest, and it didn't work out. They should have won Game 4. They lost Game 5. But they would be an underdog to, I would say, the entire National League. But the Yankees and them, Yankees might be favored at home. Tigers might be favored at Comerica. But the Tigers aren't done. They're going to be adding to this team. I don't have a doubt in my mind. It's unfortunate. We all thought, if Devers went to the Giants for that little of a package.
He was never coming here.
Yeah, but you don't want him anyway. As great a hitter as he is, he can't field, and he's a malcontent. He proved it.
No doubt.
He proved it.
Can I ask you a question that we were talking about?
Plus, I hate him.
Can I ask you a question?
How do you really feel?
Maz, we were talking, between starting pitching now a little bit banged up, the bullpen a little bit banged up. Regardless what happens with Veston, we probably won't know until tomorrow when they start a series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But, with Jason Foley and Bo Brisky down in the minors, we didn't expect that coming into the season. Do you believe that third base, bullpen, or starting pitcher rank those 3 positions, those 3 needs for me at the deadline? Because you're not going to have a perfect team. You're not going to get bullpen starter and third baseman. So what is the biggest priority if you are Scott Harris coming up in the next couple of weeks? And look, you see, for everybody waits till the deadline. Giants went now. I mean, they don't have 40 games to waste. Or not 40. They don't have about 20 games to waste.
Can I put a caveat on his question?
Yeah.
Because I think that we have enough versatility on our offense that it doesn't have to be a third baseman. We can move somebody there if we get a prime player at another position. So to me, he was talking about that bopper, the guy that I said you have to pitch around, which we don't currently have in our offense.
We got Torque, but he's hot and cold.
Exactly. So to me, his question again, a big bat, a starting pitcher, or a reliever. You only get one at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Which one are you going for?
I'm getting a hitter. I'm going.
Even with the injuries we've seen over the last 10 days to the pitching staff.
I do, because I do believe they still got some help in the minors. I do believe guys are going to get healthy. If they did it last year, I think they're better this year. They have Javier Baez. Last year, they didn't. Last year, they had evil Javi. This year, they have good Javi. So that's like adding a player right then and there. Hopefully he's okay. I know he came home on a play he shouldn't have come home on a couple of days ago, and he got hurt on that slide to the plate. Hopefully he's fine. Joey Cora's got to chill out at third for a while.
Really?
Not send so many people. Carpenter,
Right.
Carpenter with a hamstring, you send it to him. There's no chance in hell.
Right.
Take it easy. I know they're very aggressive, and you know what? They're going to win more than they're going to lose. I know they lost 2 games last week because he was too aggressive. But that's okay. He's won a few. get me a hitter. You need a corner and a corner. You got your first baseman. Thank God he is performing this year. Get your third baseman. Even though Dan Dickerson was on last week and he says, you don't need anybody. You really don't need anybody. They're going to mix and match. You got guys like Zach McKinstry who could play third. Javi could play third if you need him. But I still think you need another bat because their offense isn't on par with the Yankees' offense and definitely not on par with anyone in the National League. Get a hitter.
Maz, before I ask the same question to Pete, I do need to know, would you consider current Javi as Bizarro Javi or regular Javi?
He is Bizarro Javi. He is amazing. I don't even know who the hell he is anymore. And I'm so happy that he is what he is. And just remember, the Mets traded for this guy from the Cubs, and they traded Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yep.
That's right. PCA
That's right.
was a rookie down in AA. And they traded him to Javi for 40 games of rental. And now Javi didn't do great with the Mets after that. He's with the Tigers now. We all know how he first started. But he's starting to perform like that guy that the Mets went and traded for. And they traded an all-star for him, it turns out.
Pete, where are you at on that trade?
Well, actually, before I answer your question, I'm going to ask Maz a question. Maz?
Yo.
What do the Giants now do with Matt Chapman?
Well, Devers is going to play first.
I hear you.
Devers has agreed to play first base.
He didn't want to play for the Red Sox, though.
I know. He
Right.
said, I will do whatever it takes to win for the Giants, though.
Okay.
So he has changed his mind.
Maybe I like him after all.
Yeah,
There
he
you go,
has
buddy.
changed
There you
his
go.
mind.
Hey, Chapman?
Yeah.
Maybe they move him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There
Maybe
you go.
they move him.
It would be interesting to see. Now,
Don't forget the Rockies and teams like that. People are going to pick them apart. Like you pick a rotisserie chicken apart. The Colorado Rockies and a few of these other teams are going to get picked to the bone.
And I'm not sure if Colorado, though, I'm not sure if the Colorado Rockies have a competent general manager or not. I'm just not. Their record would indicate not. I just don't know what their plan is. But at the same time, you're going to have every single contender have the same idea. And you go to Colorado, maybe you go to Chicago with the White Sox, and you make a couple of these deals.
And
but
go get Chevalier?
well,
I love that. Love that trade.
You are going to, but I'm not sure that the White Sox would trade with the Tigers.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure they would.
No.
I don't know that, but I just.
Avisar Garcia.
Well,
they traded
but
back in the day.
they had a different general manager at that point.
I mean, you guys,
Baby Miggy.
the story about Chevalier, if Chat doesn't know, he asked for a trade, and instead of getting traded to where he would have liked, he got sent to the basement of the MLB for the White Sox. To me, Chevalier would be a great get for this team. Considering the injuries that we've had right now, he'd be low cost. This is a veteran pitcher that's a solid guy. Maybe they'd be willing to do that in division.
Well, I guess the last trade the Tigers made was for the announcer Jason Benetti.
Yeah, that was a good trade.
One of the best
two
trades
general
ever.
managers did have to get together to make that kind of happen.
Good point.
And that wasn't a trade. I'm not saying that. I think it was just a handshake.
had a
Hey, can we go after
was a
your
closed-door
guy?
meeting.
Kind of
I
thing.
heard Benetti doing the radio broadcast
Yeah,
the
he
other
did.
day. He did really
I'm sure.
good.
I don't know if that was because the game was Roku. By the way,
'cause I think Dan did the Roku, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Dan
what he
did the
does.
Roku broadcast. There was a great article in the New York Times today, and that is, if you know anything about me, that's probably something I've never said in my life.
He's a comedian.
But there was a great article in the New York Times today about what it takes to be a sports fan these days.
Yeah.
It's nobody is trying to grow a fan base. Everybody's trying to mine a fan base. They want their fans to buy their app and have it costs, I think, upwards of $4,728 to be a fan of a team these days.
Wow.
Because of what you have to do in order to watch the games.
Unbelievable.
I mean, just think about the Tigers games. You could have bought the Bally's app, but if last week they had games on Roku,
Yep.
they had games
Apple?
on
Apple?
Apple, yeah.
in one series.
MLB.
MLB,
Network.
Apple, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
And ESPN this Sunday.
You
Sunday Night
literally
Baseball.
have to have everything if you want to be a fan of a certain team. And it's just, at what point do you give up? And look, there's 40,000 people a night at the park. I get it. The Tigers' viewership is up. I get it. But they are also playing the best baseball anybody can ever imagine that the Tigers be playing. And there is a cap on this stuff. We say it a lot with Lions tickets. Eventually, Lions tickets will go back down because after you've seen it once, there's not that first time anymore. So, these things reach their peak and then come back down. So, yeah, I'm sure these teams are riding high and they enjoy this love and all this fanfare now. But at a certain point, I do think fans drop off a little bit. It's just what's important to them isn't it. It changes. And
look what happened to the Pistons.
That's a perfect example.
You go to however many straight Eastern Conference Finals.
6.
And then you decide to build suites in the basement, bunker suites that no one can see a performance or a game from. And you tax all the fans, the season ticket holders, the concession prices. And then you trade your captain for a guy who lives at the casino. And no one wants to come at all, to the point where
Talking
you have
about
to.
Phillips for Iverson. For
Absolutely.
The kids out there.
And at that point, you literally have to take down the Palace. You tear it down. There's nothing standing there. And you're down in Detroit, not only trying to grow a fan base, but trying to mine a fan base and find the fan base you lost. So the ebbs and flows, the up and down of being a fan is tough. But the financials of it, what you just talked, I'd like you to kind of break that $4,700 down. Is that in a year? Is that including going to games?
In a year.
Wow.
So that's the average. Wow.
That's crazy.
June Lee, Joonlee, if you want to read it. I actually...
you probably have to pay for it.
I'll retweet it. It is open.
Part of that 4,700.
Listen, that was one of the bumps.
Yeah.
He's complaining about a paywall behind a paywall.
Correct.
Right.
But it is free.
Good.
This article is free,
Good.
so everybody can write it. I just retweeted it if anybody wants to know about $4,785. That's how much it costs to be a sports fan right now. And he goes through explicitly how much each thing costs and, if you want to go to a game and all these things. I did see somebody in the chat, who was it? Mark Walston says, you don't know Rod Wood. The Lions tickets ain't coming down. Yes, no doubt. I totally understand that part of it. I'm talking about the secondary prices. There will eventually be a cap to all that. People are not paying that kind of money after they've seen it once.
They got to win the Super Bowl first.
Yeah, they've got to win the Super Bowl, and then maybe it goes
Correct.
back up. But
So it could be a while.
short of winning a Super Bowl, these things will have a cap. And the same with the Tigers. It's sexy now to go to the ballpark. And you know what? If they have 2 or 3 years of this, and if they keep going and don't win a World Series, it will have a cap. The Pistons, it's the greatest thing in the world to be seen at LCA this season for like 2 months, maybe for like 1 month, to be honest with you.
That's all it was.
It wasn't so cool for the previous 6 years at LCA with like 1,000 fans in the park. Are in the building. What I'm saying is there is a cap to all of this. And yes, teams will ride that wave and they will feel themselves when things are going well. It's what do you do when things are going bad?
You're saying this because we looked last year at the playoff tickets, and the Lions were the highest. The Kansas City Chiefs, you could have went to the AFC Championship game with the Kansas City Chiefs and basically gone in for
$150.
$150.
Wild.
That same price for the Lions was over $1,000.
Yep.
So that's because Kansas City has won their Super Bowls, have been into all those championships with Mahomes. That's what he's talking about. The teams that are continually winning. Philadelphia, you're not going to pay $1,000 to go see them.
No.
Either. It's just that's what it is. And right now, the Lions are the hottest thing. Every car I pass almost has a Lions sticker on it still. And I laugh. I'm like, and I look at the driver. I always like to look at the driver who's driving. It was a woman driving next to me in a Ford Escape. And I'm looking, and she's got this big lion on the back, and it's a woman. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I dig it. I love seeing our teams being represented on cars, on bumper stickers, on, when I got to Jersey, I found a bunch of people wearing Detroit stuff. It's fun. I wear my Detroit stuff. Then you can start to talk. And
I like that you have that mentality because some people have the mentality like I'll wear a Lions shirt. I've been a Lions fan my whole life. Went to Silverdome games as a kid, and they'll try to be like, "Oh, well, you know, now it's cool to be a Lions fan." And it's like, why are you mad?
Yeah, I hate that too.
I hate that. Like,
everybody get on board. Everybody get on when you want. Because I'll tell you, and it's funny because I think this was a clip that Woodward Sports sent out, and I got a lot of hate directed towards me because I had a sports opinion. Right?
Oh, God.
I know. Heaven forbid a sports opinion like kill me. But the sports opinion was, and I will say, my time is too valuable to be a fan the way you want me to be a fan if your team sucks. Well, it just is. I'm not going to sit there and watch every night if your team sucks. I'm not going to go to the games if your team sucks.
I agree.
I'm just not. You can call me a fair weather fan all you want. My time is too valuable. I work too hard for my money to shell out for a subpar product. So call me a fair weather fan if you want. It wasn't always like that, but the costs weren't always like this either. And that stuff changes. Opinions change over time. Prices evolve over time. The value of people's money individually evolves over time. There was a time I wouldn't care at all how much money I spent on a ticket. Now I do. That evolves over time. So, yeah, I mean, my love for sports evolves over time. Like, yeah, this is great. We sit here, we talk about this. It's not life and death. When you like look and see what's going on in the world sometimes, it's like, what are we doing? Sometimes, like, it's a great escape. But, I mean, to have hate or some sort of, like, burgeoning, like, you know, I hate you for this sports opinion. It's like,
it's just like the Grateful Pawn act. Oh, I've been a fan longer than you.
Right,
It's
changes
like,
over time.
But right or wrong, that's where the gatekeeping comes from. It's like if you were onto Dave Matthews in the early 90s, you know, before Crash came out, and then everybody was listening to it, you kind of hate on those people because they weren't there in the beginning, and they weren't there through the low times when it comes down to sports. But I have brought this point up so many times, and the conversation right now is perfect for it. I've told you guys so many times that when they got together in Allen Park a handful of years ago, it wasn't let's win one Super Bowl. It's let's make 10 straight playoff appearances. Because what you're talking about, when you go down and all of a sudden you got to change and lower your prices, you've got to make more availability there for your suites, you give concession discounts, it's because you're not winning. And if you cash out and make all these trades and go get yourself a Myles Garrett, sure, you might cash in on a Super Bowl, but in 2 years, you can pretty much guarantee that your team is going to be in the bottom half again. And that is what the beautiful thing about the 20s here in Detroit sports is all of these teams are building it the right way. They're building it from the floor up with these young players, which is a sustainable long-term plan. We're going to get into basketball in the second hour, but the crap I heard on BDE, I love you, Spenny, and I love you, Rule Talk Neil. It was crap. We'll get into the trade that they were talking about, but the fans these days that are so consumed with these high capital trades to land one guy now, a Kevin Durant guy that will probably sign somewhere else next year. It is a recipe for lower prices for your tickets, but you won't be caring. You won't be buying because they won't be winning.
Makes sense.
No doubt. Guys, we got a lot to get to. You had mentioned Shohei Ohtani going to start for the Dodgers. Remember we were talking about not Justin Verlander, Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
What if he starts games 1, 4, and 7? What if Ohtani starts 1, 4, and 7?
No, I
and
ever
hits.
think about that?
And
you
hits.
ever think about that?
There you go.
Hope he blows his arm out.
Also, 7 general managers, ESPN, 7 general managers who are on the hot seat this trade deadline. Guys that must make a move. Where does Scott Harris fall in there? We'll get to the NBA Finals as well. Some Lions news. Got it all going on. But first, the message from Van Johnson.
Hey, listen, our Lions and Tigers and Pistons, they're all fighters, just like my man Van Johnson. Justice, it means something different to different people, but whether it's settlement or a verdict, Justice is always worth the fight, and Ben Johnson's up for it. If you got a case, contact the fighters at Ben Johnson Law today and get the justice you deserve. Tough, tenacious trial lawyers, Ben Johnson Law, you want them in your corner.
The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us Friday, June 29th at the Old Miami in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Ben Johnson.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
There it is. All right. I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. It's a new era in sports wearables. New designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at shop.woodwardsports.com. Hoodies, tees, hats, it doesn't matter what you get on there. It's guaranteed to turn heads. People are going to be asking you where you got it from. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Get the latest designs today. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Peace.
Buddy, time for you to scan that QR code above my head right now, because you're going to head to the Feldman Chevrolet website, and Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's numero uno Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. And this month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew for $149 per month. That lease is $149 per month. You can't beat that. And then you can lease a 2026 Equinox LT. You can lease that for just $209 a month, but only if you scan that QR code above my head and visit FeldmanChevrolet.com.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Anson Wells, Braylon out today. Tom Mazaway in with us. Ricky Burns, Pete Spivak with us. Gentlemen, Tom, give us a quick.
Yeah.
Your dad, 99 years old.
97 and a half.
103 years old.
Thanks, buddy.
Just give us a quick synopsis of the weekend trip.
Man, it was a quickie. Saturday, Friday, I worked here. Then I went bowling, and then I went to a grad party. Then I got up early and got on a plane and flew into Jersey. And my brother-in-law Mike picked me up as always, and enjoyed
Jersey Mike, baby. I got his shirt.
Buddy.
Enjoyed my family and went and visited mom and dad, and that was my main objective, to go see dad. Hey, I'm 63, so it's my 63rd Father's Day with my father.
You're lucky.
Which is
It's incredible.
Which is a blessing, man. I mean, I'm in overtime with him, right? So you got to take every second you can. I'm blessed enough to have my dad. I know a lot of people aren't. I know Pete still mourns for his dad, and others around there do it as well. But we had a great time. My goal was to get Dad to the track on Saturday night, and unfortunately, the weather sucked. It rained most of the time, cloudy, wet, so we didn't do much. But we had some good time together. We ate good, and then yesterday, what a great shindig that Jersey Mike and my sister Jen throws for Father's Day. He was making cheesesteaks, like cut up ribeye.
Oh my God!
Nice.
The great cheese, sausage and peppers, cheeseburgers. We had it all. Of course, the hot dogs. I heard about Joey Chestnut back in the hot dog run.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
thank
back.
God for him.
Good
That
for
was
Joey.
breaking
He's
news.
back. Last year was awful. Nonetheless, it was a fantastic weekend. I probably gained 5 pounds. But it's,
You wear it well, buddy.
thanks, buddy. It was real enjoyable, and got on a plane this morning and flew in. Was a little behind. They get us to the gate, right? Get to the gate. Well, the 15 minutes, everyone stands up, right? I never stand up when we get to the gate. I'm chilling out. I'm gonna wait.
Last one on, baby.
I'm gonna wait.
Right.
Wait till this gets
Hell
out.
yeah.
And then 15 minutes later, they say we have to switch gates. Everyone sit down. Put your luggage back in. So get to another gate. Wait another 10 minutes. Finally got off the plane. Got on the bus and got my car. And here I am. Called my parents on my way just to check on them. They sound great. So my parents are in better shape now. I left them in better shape than I saw them when I got there. So I know I definitely picked their spirits
That's
up.
got to make you feel
That's awesome.
tremendous.
Yeah, it feels great.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
I never understand.
I don't get it.
Why everyone stands up
soon
to
as that
just
bell
wait,
rings, bing, they jump
standing
up.
up.
If you've
Because
got an aisle seat, I think it's well within your reach.
In the back of the plane?
Why not?
I'm always
You
in.
want to stretch your legs.
There you go. I have really long legs.
I got
so
stretch.
Sometimes I'll just stand up just to stretch. But I let it be known I'm just stretching. I put my arms up.
But
I
in
go,
the aisle,
I'll stand-
I'm always in aisle seat.
on the aisle seat. I'm
all the
always.
time in
I'm
aisle
not
always
getting
window.
up until the people in front of me start walking.
Okay.
Then I'll stand up.
What about the guy? Okay, that's great. Now, if the guy,
And I'll let my people out that were sitting in my row.
well, then
you're a
now
gentleman.
you're holding up the plane.
No, I'm not.
They've got to crawl over you.
No. I stand up. I'm the aisle.
Oh.
Then I let the two people that were sitting next to me get out and get
you're
their
just a
luggage.
gentleman.
And then you sit back down and enjoy your time.
No, and I continue to walk.
Oh, okay.
Once they're walking, I'm walking.
Okay.
But I'm not going to stand there for 10 freaking minutes. 15 sometimes.
I'm always in the window. I normally have my dog with me, so I stay in that seat, and I am the last man off. And I'll tell you what, we all get our luggage at the same damn time, so
Unless you
hurry
fly
up
Delta,
and wait.
Sometimes Delta, your luggage already there. Then
it's like people running to get in line.
I just took a backpack with me. When I'm traveling without my
Oh, yeah.
wife and kids, I'm a backpack guy.
I agree with you, Anson.
Right.
I go with them. They have to pack a bag. We got to go down. It's an extra hour.
No doubt.
yeah.
No. Where'd you fly into?
Detroit.
No, I mean
Newark.
Spirit.
no.
Newark.
No.
Oh, you flew
not
into
Newark.
Newark.
I knew it.
Of course.
Flying into Newark.
That's like an extra $300,
I
man.
knew Mass was a
Well,
Newark
flying
guy.
into Newark
It's a
is
death
like a
trap.
no-no these days.
Hell yeah, it's a
from there.
no-no.
That's my airport. I know my way.
They say they
I know.
it's terrible.
Now, I flew Spirit, $90 round trip.
I'm
Wow.
serious.
Into Newark?
Did you have to drive?
Wow.
God bless you, dude.
I didn't have to hang from the wing
Yeah,
or
but
nothing.
it was another $60 to use the bathroom, though.
Hey, it cost me $39 to park for 3 days.
Right.
Nice.
2 days to park,
God
2.5
bless you.
days.
I would have driven you to the airport, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
He asked.
Hey,
I
it
told
all
you he
works
was
out.
flying in.
I thought he was driving, man.
It all works out.
That's
No,
a
not
long
for
drive.
a 2-dayer, Pete. For a 2-dayer, you got to fly.
I wanted to get to this story. On ESPN.com. It was. It's titled 2025 Trade Deadline. Front office execs most under pressure. They listed 7 of them. You ready for this? Can we get a little music and we'll wait till we hear Scott Harris's name. Stop when you hear Scott Harris's name, okay? All right. GM number 1. You ready? Mike Hazen, general manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay.
They were in the World Series 2 years ago.
Yep,
they lost
they were
in
in.
Game 7.
Okay. Dave Dombrowski, president of baseball operations from the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah,
Who's that
they
guy?
compete with the Mets.
Dombo.
Got Got to compete with the Mets.
Jerry DiPoto, president of baseball operations from the Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
So that's 3 of the 7.
He's charged to win the
Fringe playoff squad.
Again, we are naming
Yes.
the front office execs under the most pressure this MLB trade.
Does it tell you who's writing this
deadline.
article?
This is Tim Kirkjian.
Oh, wow. I love
So,
Tim Kirkjian.
Tim Kirkjian, ESPN. Buster Olney, Tim Kirkjian.
Yes.
Okay. Chris Young, president of baseball operations,
Rangers.
Texas Rangers, World Series champs.
World Series
a couple of
champs.
years ago.
Yeah, and they're losing right now.
How about Mike Elias of the Baltimore Orioles?
Oh, yeah.
That's 5. I've named 5
Fired,
of the
his,
7.
fired his manager a couple weeks ago.
Fired the manager. They are playing much better baseball. 6.5 out of a wild card. Tigers were 9 back with 50 to play, something like that. How about AL Central? JJ Piccolo, general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Royals.
Royals.
He got him to the playoffs last year.
He did.
Lost to the
Chiefs.
Yankees.
All right, guys. Here's Scott Harris. You ready?
Yep.
The 7th general manager on this list from the Central Division
Cleveland
Twins.
in the NL. Jed Hoyer
Tease.
of the Chicago Cubs.
Tease.
Wow.
Makes sense.
No Scott Harris mentioned at all in this column
That's
of
good.
the general managers under the most pressure this offseason. Or this trade deadline. I will say there's no doubt he shouldn't be on this list at the start of the season. But the more information you have about something, the better informed your expectation and your opinion about something can be. And I just think what we know about the Detroit Tigers right now, the expectation is that they must make some kind of move to compete for a World Series. I think they are, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the Yankees, again, I would say the 2 teams that really could get to the World Series in the American League are the Tigers and the Yankees. When you're one of 2 teams to compete for a World Series, you go for it, and that is pressure. And I just think for him not to be on this list at this point in the season, I think he should be on the list.
Well, look at Brian Cashman. He's not on the list.
Right.
Yankees GM.
Well, and
If anyone should be on the list, he should be number 1.
Did they get a little bit of a reprieve with making the World Series last year and
Yeah.
losing Soto?
Yeah, they did.
I have to double down on that. I think that the Yankees have the most pressure out of any organization year in and year out for over 100 years, period. Shout out to the 23-year-old intern who put out this list. He clearly went and looked at all the people, languishing around 500, looked at the people that he thought were going to be great teams with great offenses with all these young players, i.e. Baltimore, i.e. KC. Then you look at, the easy ones, Arizona, Texas, teams that both were right there in the promised land. One won, one didn't. So this list to me is all teams that are struggling to not play as well as they could. The Cubs at the end there, that's a team that's on their way to the playoffs. And they do need to make some
They need
moves.
pitching.
And it's also the Cubbies. They've got one, but they still are starving out there. So when you look at this list, to your point 10 days ago, Tigers shouldn't be on this list. When you're leading the AL, and again, to your point that you brought up, I'll bring it up a second time, they have the largest lead as a division leader out of anybody in the MLB. So the pressure right now is not on them. But just in 2 weeks, with some of these pitching injuries and thinning out of the staff, maybe the bats go a little bit cold, we could go from, hey, we're fine, don't trade the young guys, to freak out mode here in Detroit. So I don't think that he should have been on the list 10 days ago. I think at this point right now, considering the news, like you said, over the last 10 days, that this is a team that absolutely should be on the list and is on the list. They're working the phones right now. The Devers trade, they got them spooked. They're on the phones.
Yep.
I'm not going to be as worried, believe it or not, this year, because I think the way they're constructed now, they can continue to win. They can compete. They could tread water for a while and get to the finish line in the AL Central and get in the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, the hottest team, the healthiest team is going to win. And I'm hoping that they would peak like they did last year, because they were dangerous and a hard out for any team. They should have won Game 4 here in Detroit, knocked Cleveland out of the playoffs. We all know it didn't happen, and they lost a tough one in Game 5. And I think they could have competed with the Yankees, although the Yankees started to peak at that point. Stanton got hot. Judge, of course, was always hot. And then the Dodgers were waiting, and probably no one was going to beat those guys. It's unfortunate. But I'm not going to be crybaby here at the trade deadline like I was last year. Last year, I'm like, wow, they gave away Flaherty. They gave away a bunch of other guys.
You're kind of a crybaby at everybody's trade deadline.
Well, regardless, I always want my team to win. And in my mind, I know how they should win, right?
Sure.
And I'm not always right, just like all of us. We all think that we know what the hell we're talking about. And when it came down to it last year, Scott Harris really did put up the white flag, brought up the young kids and said, all right, let's just see what you can do. And what they did was a miracle. They had a miracle last year. Unbelievable odds against them. And they not only get into playoffs, they knock out Houston in Houston, which was outstanding. And then, of course, they take Cleveland to the 5th game. So I'm not going to cry about it this time, Rye. I'm going to let it ride, and I'm going to see where the chips fall, because I know in the minor leagues they've got some bats and they've got some arms, and that might be the magic potion for this team.
Isn't this baseball like baseball right now is as exciting as it's been in 20 plus years?
Amen.
I mean, if you look
since 14 for sure, okay. 11 years.
If you look just purely at the 15 American League teams, 13 of them feel like they got a chance to make the playoffs. There's 15 teams in the American League. 13 of the 15 are either in the playoffs or within 6 games.
Wow.
And if you want to say 12 of the 15, I'll even one-up you, because I am putting Baltimore in there. Baltimore is 6 games out of a wild card spot. I think they are way too talented to not make a run. But even if you take Baltimore, the White Sox, and the Athletics out, 12 of the 15 teams in the American League either hold a playoff spot or are within 3 games of a playoff spot right now. So when you look at trades in the trade deadline, who is going to be buyers, who is going to be sellers? That list of sellers, because of how much competition there is right now, how competitive it is right now, the amount of sellers might be, the White Sox, Athletics, and Baltimore. Now, if you want to get it in the National League, you've got Colorado, Pittsburgh, and the Marlins. And again, everybody, so you've got 6 teams out of 30, 7 maybe, that are probably definitely sellers and have no chance of making the playoffs. 7 out of 30? That's pretty damn good. Keep an eye out for that.
Randall Small's crushing it today in the Super Chat. Well, this one isn't a Super Chat, but get those Super Chats in. You guys want this prize. But he suggests, kind of asks, no moves or little moves at the trade deadline means an even stronger Tigers team next year. Are you a buyer or seller on that?
I'm a buyer. Like I said, I'm not going to whine this year. If they pick up a guy or two, no one big, just someone that they believe can plug in the A.J. Hinch arsenal. I mean, the guy, the moves he makes, he loves switch hitters. He loves guys that can pitch 1 inning, guys that can come in for 3. Whatever they do, I'm on board for this year. I really am.
Pete, you a buyer or seller on that?
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm Tigers, you got to buy. And the Giants, by the way, I'm
saying, are you a buyer on not moving these young guys because our window goes longer by not moving some of these prime pieces we have in our farm system?
I hear you. I'm a seller.
Okay,
and
so you don't like that.
I'm just going to politely argue with it because of what we saw happen with Baltimore last year, at the end of last year, and then the start of this year. You're going to have to make moves. I'm going to show you guys real quick. And, Maz, you hadn't seen I don't know if you'd seen all the details yet, Maz, of the trade here. I'm going to show you guys, once again, the Devers trade here and what the Giants had to give up. Now, Kyle Harrison is a lefty, very, very wonderful up-and-coming starting pitcher, lefty. Jordan Hicks is a freaking good reliever up and coming as well. I don't know much about Tibbs, and I don't know much about Bello, but I'm just saying that this is the type of price that you're going to have to spend if you want to win a World Series. And Ryan, I was going to say, one guy on that GM on that list, how is the Giants GM, Zach Manasian, who already made a deal? He's already under pressure. Look at this deal that he made. He should be on that list because he's competing with the Giants, and he's already said to his to the Giants fan base, "I'm here to win." And those are the kind of deals that we just saw right there for Rafael Devers. I want to see deals like this to bring a trophy. If I'm going to have to give up 5-6 years, the window in Major League Baseball, unless you're the Yankees, is only 2 or 3 years.
Boston gave up all that money too. They don't have to pay Devers.
11 years, $300 million.
Yep, they didn't want to pay that.
That's why, yeah.
You see what he looks like? I mean, he looks like me.
Yeah.
Except he can hit.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, he's not taking care of himself. He really isn't.
Yeah.
And not only that, Boston is loaded in the minor leagues.
Right.
Loaded, and they just brought up 3 of their best prospects. I hate their guts, but I think it's going to be a good trade in the long run. I know everyone thinks it's a wash. It's a bad one. It's another Mookie Betts trade for Verdugo, which was horrible. And I hope this is a horrible trade for him. But it don't look as bad as a lot of people think.
Just to answer your question, I think you got to make a deal, and I think you got to go for it.
Yeah.
I said that with the Lions. I'll say it with the Tigers. You only have Tarek Skubal for so long. Maybe they get him, maybe they don't. I don't know. If I had to guess right now, I'm saying that they're not. If I had to guess, and this is the best guess, I think he leaves. So I do think you have 2 years. I also think it's a little bit naive to assume that you could lose Tarek Skubal and just continue like nothing ever happened. Not saying that like, okay, they lose Tarek Skubal and their hopes in the American League are gone or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. They're one of the youngest teams in baseball. I think they're the 4th youngest team in baseball, and they're doing what they're doing now. I think they're going to be more than capable moving forward. But just as far as a dominance figure, I mean, I think this is a 2-year World Series window right now. I mean, I could be totally wrong about that. That's what I think.
Well, when you look at football trades and a lot of the trades in baseball, a lot of these are for expiring players. You saw us do the same thing. We brought in Lorenzo and Sweeney, was it?
Sweeney.
In exchange for an expiring Flaherty. That kind of a deal scares me because I don't know if one player can get us to the World Series, but can it get us over the Dodgers? Now, if you're talking about, and I'm not talking about Devers, I'm not a Devers fan either, but if you can get a guy that's signed to a long-term deal that's 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you see this guy being a mainstay for your team for the next handful of years, I wouldn't have wanted 8 years of Devers.
Yeah, he goes through 2033.
But in terms of just laying out a possible deal, if the Tigers do make a deal at this deadline, and I hope that they do, I'm just asking what Rando brought up to you guys, but to me, I think that they do need to be a buyer. But if you talk about giving up a kid like McGonigal for a guy that's in his last year, that's a really quick prescription to get back to losing.
That's the Smoltz deal.
Smoltz. Exactly. So for me, there's a deal out there for a guy that doesn't want to be somewhere that's on a long-term deal that I have no problem with. But we are not the Dodgers. We're not even really the Yankees in terms of star power and money as well. So if we're going to sell off some of these awesome shiny pieces that we have in our farm system, I don't want it to be for a stopgap Flaherty type of pitcher that you get for 1 year.
That's correct.
And it make or break, you got to win it with this guy. Otherwise, no more kind of McGonigal on
That is correct.
Guys, we got to get a break in. Come right back when we do. Talking a little basketball. Major trade in the NBA.
Oh, boy.
That was kind of nuts.
Fueling delusion around the country.
Like, what? Who? This is Desmond Bain character. We'll have that.
Great name.
Up. But first, a message from Tom Hathaway.
All right, guys, looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Look no further. Check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, right up the street, Woodward and Long Lake Road. They are the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, and they feature the Dr. Eric Duncan. He is the wellness doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Check him out right now. Book a visit, massagechairhouse.com. Click that QR code to make it even quicker. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate relaxation and recovery.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, it's Stick from Woodward Sports. I'm out here at the Feldman shop, of course, you know, because they are #1 people. And the Ineos Grenadier, that's the new car that they got. But I got my man here, the Sun God. I'm not lying. His name is Amon-Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sold me a car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Come see us out here, baby. We in Waterford. We got the pre-owns all day. We got the Grenadiers, and we got new Chevys all day. Whatever you need, we got you.
Yeah, and I went with this one. I like it. 2023 Durango. It's used. Only got like 30,000 miles on it. And this guy, man, I was like, listen, this is my price. You either make it happen or I'm out of here.
Easy.
You know what he did? Went to his boss. He's like, I'm making this happen for this guy. Came back, threw the contract on the table. Now I'm in the whip.
Yes, sir. Sign, drive, 0 down, easy money all day.
All right, Feldman, what's the address here, do you know?
5300 Highland Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327. Open until 6 o'clock every weekday except 9 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. It's 4 o'clock on Saturdays. Only day we're not here for you is Sunday. Every other day we're here to get it done, baby.
And his legit name is Amon-Ra. I'm not lying. It was destined. It was meant to be. Woodward Sports found this guy. So thank you very much, man. Enjoying the car, and the kid likes it too. It's nice and safe.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Make sure you're connecting with Woodward Sports on all social medias. That's right, Facebook, X, Instagram. Can't forget about YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Follow us for the latest sports news, live updates, and that behind-the-scenes action you don't want to miss, man. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be a part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network. Once again, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. That's at Woodward Sports on all of them. At Woodward Sports. Follow us now.
I do not look like Braylon, but I'm doing all right, and I have Planet Fitness to thank for that because there's one close by, I guarantee you that. There's 50 in the Metro Detroit area alone and thousands throughout the rest of the world. Planet Fitness, you'll experience that squeaky clean gym. There's tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. And you can get fitness training for no extra cost with that Planet Fitness membership. Want all the perks? Upgrade to that PF Black Card. They got massage chairs, total body enhancement, hydro massage, and again, over 2,500 locations worldwide. For more information or to join today, visit any one of those local Planet Fitnesses in your area, or just go to planetfitness.com.
Finals continue tonight. Game 5 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. OKC, a huge favorite tonight.
No, did the Pacers blow Friday night's game?
9.5 point favorites. Look, I think the Pacers still have a chance, but it is looking very, very bleak for this team.
Game 4 felt like game 1 for the Knicks against the Pacers.
Yep.
An emotional backbreaker. It was a strange game. I'm not going to lie. It was a sloppy game. It was a hard-fought game.
It looked like OKC. They looked like the Oilers when they were down 3-0 to the Panthers. They looked defeated. Yet they came back and won it, and here came the Thunder. But then the Panthers bounced back. The Pacers, can they bounce back?
Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, both places. We saw Indy was a madhouse. We also know that OKC is one of the toughest places to play in the NBA.
Is it going to be a blue out tonight or a white out?
I don't know the
They're
answer
going to broadcast the intros tonight.
Good.
Okay. All right. So what I saw in that game was SGA showing us that he's ready for this stage. We've seen Halliburton disappear in some games. We've seen him win some games. SGA has been solid and consistent throughout this series. What I've seen beyond SGA is the young guys either struggle or step up. And when the young guys, i.e. Chet, J-Dub, this team wins. But OKC's been very, very sloppy. You got to tip your hat to the defense that the Pacers have played. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, this OKC team just has too many guys. When I look at Game 4, everything that the Pacers needed to win these games that I talked about early on, you need the Aarons to be hitting shots. You need Obi Toppin to be hitting shots. You need McConnell to come in and bring that spark. You need Siakam to be special. And if it wasn't for Siakam in that first quarter, that game's probably never close. In fact, OKC took the crowd out of that game in the first 5 minutes. And it wasn't until the end of the first half and the start of that third quarter that they really got their crowd involved back in that game. But again, so many things went right for them. They didn't turn the ball over terribly. OKC was sloppy with the ball. But when it got down to it, it was all about SGA. SGA absolutely executed over those final minutes to win a road game that they had to have. There's no way that they're going back to OKC and winning 3 games in a row, 2 at home and 1 on the road. And this is coming from an OKC believer, a truther, a fan, in fact. To me, we talked about it, has to be a Matherin game last week. And I told you guys from the outset of this
series. Said nobody
series,
ever besides you.
Well, but and Matherin was special in Game 4. I don't know how many of you guys watched it. I watched
he was.
From tip to finish. He was probably the best player on the floor for the Pacers throughout that entire game, both defensively and offensively.
This was the guy that the Piston fans wanted.
And to be honest with you, that first year of Ivy, probably should have taken Matherin, but Matherin he's slumped while Ivy's gone up. But in this series, we've seen the potential of what Benedict Matherin can be, and truly, they have their top 3. In fact, I know that it's in the show sheet here. They are signing Miles Turner to a $30 million a year contract, and I told you guys, if these guys get unceremoniously bounced from the playoffs, Miles Turner will be on the market for the Pistons to go and steal. As it is, these guys are 2-2 in the finals. Miles Turner's not going anywhere, and the Pacers willing to go into that upper tier of the salary, what do they call it? Not the salary cap, but the luxury tax. For the first time in over 20 years, and it's because they know they have their big 3. Benedict Matherin is that 4th guy that they have to have show up tonight in OKC to have a chance in this series. But I don't see things going right for 3-4 of the role players, if you will, for the Pacers in OKC tonight. And without that happening, without both Aarons being on from the distance, without Obi Toppin getting double digits and being a spark, and no one having interest in boxing that man out. I will say, SGA, box somebody out.
Right.
Put a body on somebody. But this is a very uphill battle after an emotional loss because they fell apart over those last 4 minutes. They took bad shots. They turned the ball over. They couldn't defend. And I'm sure that Rick Carlisle pulled the very little hair out of his head that he has left after that loss because that was their game to win, and that would have essentially given them their series going up 3-1, headed back to OKC for
You
game
called
5.
it. That was the Knicks' game 1 loss. The Pacers got a taste of their own medicine.
Yes, sir.
And they couldn't stop the bleeding. And that bodes well for OKC. They're favored by 9.5. Vegas knows. They were favored by 6.5 the other day.
Yeah.
So they're down 11. I'm like, whew, Pacers were a lock. They won by 7.
Isn't that something how that works?
No,
Yeah.
so Freddie
They
Felt.
won by 10 tonight.
I knew Freddie Felt would be here today. Shout out to Freddie Felt. He did bring us a whole bunch of awesome stuff. He's a legend in the chat, longtime supporter. Brought us this Winter Classic ticket from the game back at the Big House. Not the Loud House, the Big House, as well as the shirt from Techno Snob. So make sure you get those super chats in and smash that like button. But I see people in the chat talking about this team winning by 20 tonight, OKC. Freddie Felt says, as long as Siakam and Halliburton score, they win. Brother, both of them had very good games. In fact, Siakam kept them in the game in the first half. All of their role players went off, and they lost. And they lost, my friend. So I'm not sure we see 20 points, but this is a team that has not lost back-to-back games. They take offense to losing. And the fact that they only won by 8, they're going to be out running and gunning tonight. The Pacers could fall underneath an avalanche in the first quarter. If they can keep this thing close, the way that they have the majority of the series, they'll have a shot. But I'm not betting on a 20-point blowout, that's for sure. But this could be the blowout game after that emotional loss.
Definitely could be the blowout game. And last week, like they were begging you to take the Pacers, or a couple days ago, like they're begging you to take the Pacers in the 6.5. I mean, they're begging you to take the Pacers again in the 9.5.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
Begging you.
They're just begging you to do that. And this, if there ever was a moment for a blowout game, this is it. And it really kind of sets up for a great NBA final if you can get the Pacers to win back at home on Game 6, and then it sets up a 7-game series. I'm trying to play out in my own mind like what would be the best case scenario, and I think it would be the 3 home teams winning now. OKC in Game 5, Indiana in Game 6, and then OKC in Game 7. Just in terms of atmospheres and television watching, I think that would be the best way to go about this. But
well, and the fans are learning who these teams are each game that passes. If this is a 4-game sweep for OKC, you probably don't.
Nobody's paying attention.
Nobody's paying attention. You're absolutely right with that. But then there's a lot of people that don't.
I'm saying if it's a 4-game series.
Well, I agree. I agree completely. If it's a 4-game series, nobody's watching. Nobody really gets to know Chet. Nobody really gets to know J-Dub or anybody else on that roster. And realistically, no one cares about Indy. If this was a 4-game sweep, would we be talking about Myles Garrett re-upping for 30?
No.
I agree
Myles
as well.
Turner.
So, and Pascal Siakam did score 20 points, Freddie Felt. So I know that he only had 2 points in the second half, but without Pascal Siakam in the first half, that's a blowout. The rest of the team step up. Both your boys scored 20 points. Well, Halliburton had 18 and 7 assists. Listen, he was 1 for 7 from 3. He wasn't taking the game off like he did in the first 2. He was dealing with the best defense in the league. So, I mean, yes, if Pascal and Tyrese score 20 each, they score 20 plus, they'll be in the game. But it takes all of their support players having really great games for them to win. And it's a defined 3-4 guys. You've got 9 other guys on OKC that can step up any other game, any night. So, Freddie, I was pretty happy to come in here today, tied 2-2. I'm not going to lie to you, my friend.
Desmond Bain gets shipped from Memphis to Orlando. Is Orlando a team now the Pistons need to be concerned about. I think they already
were
coming
absolutely.
into the next season, but this does make them a lot better. What they got back for Desmond Bane, I just, if you're a casual observer for an NBA watching, you're like, Desmond Bane? This is what you get back for Desmond Bane? I mean, Boston didn't even come close to getting something back for Devers. I don't know. I'm trying to change sports up and make it a little bit more.
Baseball is much more fair when it comes to trades.
Crazy,
it
right?
Seems like. I think that this is the best example to hammer down my point. Stop it. Just stop the trade talk, guys. Whether it's Myles Garrett, whether it's Kevin Durant, anybody. If you are giving up this type of capital that it requires in the NBA to get a Desmond Bane superstar, much less a Giannis true superstar, the only guarantee that you get is that you're shortening your window, period. Now,
so who won that trade?
I don't hate the trade for Orlando. I don't think that puts them over the top. I've told you guys a lot that I think that they're one of the 4 teams that's going to be dominant in the Eastern Conference for the second half of this decade. Franz Wagner's the white Cade. He's the white Cade out there. Paolo Banchero is on the precipice of being one of the possible faces of the NBA. He's that damn good. They're very solid defensively. They're very young. They have a bunch of guys that couldn't quite find their way because they were being asked to do too much. Now they've got a legit big 2. What I see in Desmond Bane is what I talked to you guys about this summer that I think you're going to see in OKC. OKC doesn't have the 4th option, i.e. Ray Allen in Miami. Older Ray Allen, not the guy that could go out and Jesus Shuttlesworth on top of you, but what Desmond Bane brings to them is something that they desperately need, which is a 3rd scorer. I don't think that he's going to put them over the top in the Eastern Conference Finals. If you take Desmond Bane or a Trey Young from Atlanta and you put them on OKC, you get that 4th scorer. You take either of those guys, you put them on Detroit. Detroit's coming out of the Eastern Conference, period. Desmond Bane is the modern-day Vinnie Johnson. He's built the same way. He's an endless bucket, and heaven help you if he gets hot. But he's also a very cerebral player and a veteran that will be perfect for what Orlando wants to do, and they could certainly get into the Eastern Conference Finals. You got 4 teams going forward. Boston's declining. They're going to start blowing that thing up soon. The Knicks, they can't help but ruin a good thing. They do it all the time. Maz will tell you all about that. You got the Pacers. You got the Cavs. You got the new Magic. And you got the Bad Boys 3.0 right now. So Pistons fans, look at this trade. Look at the capital that it cost. Look at how long, and watch how long that Desmond Bane stays here. Desmond Bane is not going to make them a championship team. And giving up what our boy Spenny and Rules talked about to bring back Spartan J3. You guys know what I'm talking about? Jalen Jackson Jr.
Look at that.
Jalen Jackson Jr., who would be the perfect fit here, but the cost would be absolutely sky high. They talked about giving up.
Jaren Jackson.
They wanted.
Jalen.
I'm sorry, Jaren Jackson.
Okay,
so many Jalens out there.
Yeah, right.
But so they want to trade Duren, Holland, and
I'm not trading Duren.
And Ivy with
God,
picks
no.
to bring Jaren here.
No.
And they were all aboard. That's crazy talk, guys. That's why we didn't trade for Myles Garrett, because it's a longevity move by not making that trade. The young core that we have here right now should not be tampered with. Ron Holland is the only guy that I'm willing to let go of, and I think that you can package him with a pick or two and get that stretch 4 or 5 guy that you need. But rejoice in the fact that we have enough money to go get one on our own. Santi Aldama, Naz Reid. There's a strong list of guys that we can go out and get. And I truly believe that the Pistons are not in a position where they're going to make this kind of a plunge trade. If we do see that, it won't be till next summer.
One thing just quickly about Orlando. Orlando is literally in a small window. They never re-sign their guys. All their superstars that they all leave.
Mm-hmm. Going back to Shaq.
And that's with no state income tax.
Yeah. So Wagner is not staying there. Banchero, I doubt, is staying there. I mean, maybe,
see, I totally agree with you normally, Orlando has a different culture with this team right now.
Perhaps, but
I've been buying Franz
I'm a
Wagner
history
cards,
guy.
man. I'm telling you, this team,
Right.
Paulo's the real deal. And I know his name is Franz and his last name is Wagner, and I know that he's white, but that kid can hoop, damn it.
Right.
He
So,
can hoop.
We'll see. Guys, break time. When we come back, get some sad day. For
Super chats, guys. Get the super chats
sad
in,
day
too.
for the Michigan Panthers.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. We'll see what Maz's jet lag is, what time he woke up today. He don't like that early wake-up call.
I do
at
not.
all. He does not like the early wake-up.
Not a
And
morning
I-
guy.
And I miss my pillow,
But
too.
first, a message from Pause. Les Stanford Chevrolet, you missed the pillow. Les Stanford Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Les Stanford Buick GMC, great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred all-wheel drive, $259 per month. What about the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation? Only $169 per month. Hey, guys, we are going to be at Les Stanford on Friday on Woodward in Ferndale, just off the 9 Mile. Come see us. We'd love to see you there. Maybe Anson will stop by. Maybe Anson will come by. What's that? Let's drive. That's right. Les Stanford Buick GMC. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com. Together.
Let's drive.
Drive, baby.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media, X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Favorite part of the show, scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do so and make your first deposit, make your first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head. Use the code word over there, Woodward1000, to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Ryan?
All right, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated. We like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Shout out to Pistol Pete over here in the booth. He has granted you guys an extra 5 minutes.
Yes.
Because I am doubling the super chats. I want this awesome Techno Snob shirt to go home to a Detroiter or somebody that loves Detroit. I want this awesome ticket courtesy of Freddie Felt to go to somebody in all of these cards. So we're giving you about 4 or 5 minutes to get some more super chats in. You're going to get double the spots on the wheel. But guys, only 60 likes. Come on, man. We got a lot of people in here for only 60 likes, so please smash that like button. I'm going to get this awesome prize pack to you. This is really one of the coolest shirts that I've ever seen. It barely made it here today. It was almost going into my collection, guys. So get them in. You got about 4 minutes to see some super chats. Show us some love, guys.
There you go. UFL Championship, DC Defenders beat the Michigan Panthers by 24 points over the weekend. It was really never a game. 58-34 was the final. Panthers quarterback Bryce Perkins was the UFL MVP for the season, but he can't play defense. But he did throw a couple of picks. But nonetheless, tough way for the Michigan Panthers to finish up their season. But I watched that game. I was into it a little bit, and then it just got out of hand. But shout out to the Michigan Panthers. I'm a fan of this league, and I hope it stays. I hope it only grows. I mean, there was nobody really in the crowd at St. Louis.
Who was on the call?
It was, your
Joe
guy,
Tess?
Joe Tessitore.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I was in Jersey. Yeah. I was too busy. But, man, I heard Joe Tess on the mic. Well, he can do a cockroach race, and I would watch it.
a what roach?
A cockroach.
A cockroach.
A cockroach.
Right, exactly.
He's fantastic.
We had 2 legends in here last week, Joe Johnson and George Gervin. And I asked the Doc Pierce, who was with him, Mr. Secret Sauce himself, I said, there's a mad race here in Detroit for the first championship in nearly 20 years.
Yep, that could have been it.
And middle-aged sneaker chick called it would be the Michigan Panthers this weekend. So I'm going to open it up to you guys and the chat. Super chat, your answer. We'll give you the double the spots, and we'll read it on the air. Who is your pick for the first championship in this city out of the Big 4 teams? And we'll also include the AMP in there because, well, we got the 3-time MVP of the Big 3 in Joe Johnson. So who are you picking?
Easy one for me. I'm going to say the Tigers.
Okay.
I think the Tigers have what it takes to win the World Series this year. And if they can stay healthy, make a move, which are things that are not just that outlandish, I think they can win the World Series, and they may do so before anybody else does. I have more faith that the Tigers will win the World Series than the
SOL.
Lions.
SOL alert. SOL alert.
Hot take.
I just want to say, I was in Jersey this weekend, and Luigi comes up to me.
Oh, Luigi.
Mike Visa, that's Jersey Mike's best friend.
Luigi.
He's like a young brother to me, even though he's 6'5" and 240 pounds. And he says, Tommy, I think the Lions window is closed. Out of the blue. They're Steeler fans, big NFL guys. But out of the blue, he said, I think they blew it. I think they had their chance the last 2 years. I know and they knew it. They said last year they were injured. I think their window is closed. So you ask me the question, who's going to win first? And I still say the Lions. I love the Tigers, and I'm rooting for them to be the first one because they'd win it in October or November. And the Lions, it would take until February to win it. So I'm rooting for the Tigers to be the first and the Lions to be the second, but to do it in the upcoming February season.
I love it.
Back to back.
Now, this guy, this Luigi, he's a Steelers fan?
Yeah.
But their window's still open, right? He thinks
He didn't mention that.
Okay, because 19 straight years in the playoffs, one
they
championship.
They root for the Lions because of me. But he just, out of the way, he just says, Tommy, I think the Lions blew their chance.
It sounds like a fan to me that thinks that the Steelers window is open and hopes the Lions window is closed. What about you, Rick? Who's the next champ?
I'm the same with Maz. My heart wants it to be the Lions, but the Tigers on a roll, and I mean, just from the calendar-wise, their championship will be before. So I'm gonna go with the Tigers, but I really, really want the Lions to win it because I don't want to say the window is closed, but it's a small window. Let's say it's one of those little attic windows at the top of the house. It's like this big. It's one of those windows.
Pete?
I'm busy. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to
voicemail.
I'm going to shock everybody with this. I think that it will be the Lions, and I think the Pistons before the Tigers. I think the Pistons are about 2 seasons away, and I think that the Tigers are here to stay. I don't think we see their championship until the end of this decade, though, when the Dodgers start falling apart.
Maybe.
The Dodgers are just such an insurmountable mountain right now that they worry the hell out of me. But don't be surprised when the Detroit Amp, coached by George Gervin,
there you go,
led by 3-time Big Three MVP Joe Johnson, are the first championship in here, and just shocked the hell out of all of us.
Fair to say that Tigers and Lions could win a championship this season.
Yeah.
And I would be right.
Yep.
The Tigers would do it first.
Yeah. That's my exacta.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me hit these super chats.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and close that down so Pete can get that wheel
Hang
taken
on,
care of.
buddy.
Mike Reed, thank you. Tigers might win the whole damn thing this year. Says, what was the guy?
Lou Brown.
Yes, thank you, my man. You knew where I was going. That phone call he gets to start that movie is so priceless. Rando Smalls.
I've got a guy on the other line about some white walls.
walls.
I'll get back to you.
I love that scene.
Well done. Well done. Rando Smalls with, he says the Tigers. Mike Reed, Tigers again. And Rando Smalls did double down in that chat. Listen, we appreciate you guys with that super chat. Got the wheel up there. Ryan, you and I don't get to be together too much on the desk, so why don't you go ahead and let Pete know when to spin that.
Pete, ready?
That O-face.
Now.
There you go.
Here we go. We're going around and around and around.
Oh, yeah.
My mouth kind of stays in the middle there. It's a little unsettling.
Is that you or is it?
That is me. That is courtesy of Getty Images 2002, the Eastern Conference semifinals against Boston. Detroit Heckler in the building, baby. And Rando Smalls is in the building. Very smart on that double down, my friend. We've got your info. This shirt is coming to you, my friend. This Winter Classic ticket, courtesy of our friend Freddie Felt. And then, of course, shout out Techno Snob. And then the Detroit Heckler's hooking you up with a nice pack of sports cards.
You're
Great
all right,
job,
Anson.
Anson.
You are all right, Anson.
All right, Braylon back tomorrow, gang. Gents, thanks to everybody for your efforts as well. Anson Wells is the man. Let Anson cook. That's my new mantra for him.
We need a shirt.
We do need a
We
shirt.
need
Let
both.
Anson cook. Maz, who's better than you, pal?
You are.
Good answer. Good
Nobody, baby. You the best, man. We love you, dog.
On YouTube anytime.
See you guys.
Thank you, John.